All right, welcome to the podcast. I'm Tony Patino. I'm here with my main man, Tommy T. Tommy, say hello to everybody.
What's going on, guys? This is Tommy T.
And we got over here sitting to the right of us is Richard Deck. Richard
Deck in this corner.
All right, first right off the bat, we need to do so. I'm going to plug, because we don't ever do this. I'm going to go ahead and plug a few things. Number one, we're going to plug our website. If you listen to this, you're going to www.themancodassociation.com. Then you need to follow us on Twitter at Mancod, ASSOC. And on the YouTube, all you got to do is search out Mancod Association. You'll see our logo. Don't forget to hit subscribe. I never say hit subscribe. I'm telling you to hit subscribe today. Jumping right off into it. Tommy, you got anything that came across your website there?
Yeah, we got an infraction submitted to us recently.
Hold on. If I can interrupt you for a second. You did not give up on the hat, though. You're still gonna wear it.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the hat. It's become such a mainstay in the podcast that I'm gonna keep wearing it in hopes that it keeps getting referenced.
Definitely a point of concern. Anyone wearing a hat like that creates concern for everyone around them.
So far, 100% has not gone one podcast without being referenced, and how horrible it is. And the makers of that hat should be lined up and tarred and feathered like they did back in the olden days.
Anyways, enough about the hat. Let's jump into this submission.
Well, nobody likes the hat, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. The viewers might like the hat.
Just keep on wearing it. The viewers can't see your face.
Exactly, but they might like the hat in thought.
But I will say that we will eventually do a live broadcast for people. We may get one or two people to watch, but that's more than none. So I will take it. Even if we get one, and I don't care if it's one of our grandmothers or aunts or uncles, maybe a mother or a father. Pretty sure that you're doing all of our mothers proud, or we are doing our mothers proud, I should say. If they could see us now. Thank you, Mom. Okay.
Anyways, back on topic. We're going to go ahead and get into the submission.
Okay, back into the submission. Let's go.
This comes from Greg. Wherever you are, Greg, we appreciate you sending in the submission. It goes, if you have a bro who gets nervous meeting a girl's parents, is it okay to be the legal representative for that bro at the parent meeting? Tony, I'll let you run with this. You read this one earlier and seemed to have some thoughts on it, so I'll let you start off.
Here is the situation at hand. Your bro, who clearly gets nervous when the weather changes, it's got to be that type of guy. And I'm talking to Greg. So if you're listening, is Greg sent it to us, correct?
Yes, it was Greg.
Yeah, so listen, Greg. If you want to be your bro's advocate at the meeting for his girl's parents, I would approve that, provided that you did not back down on anything that you said. For instance, father says, hey, how you doing? You say something to the effect of, you need to prove to me that you're capable of meeting my bro, and not the other way around. Okay? You see what I'm saying on that one? Tommy?
I see where
you get what I'm saying?
I see where you're going with it.
Okay.
I see where you're going with it.
Okay.
So
don't.
I do agree with you on that part of it. On the whole thing of making the parent prove to you that he's eligible to be meeting your bro.
Yeah.
Now,
cool.
At the same time, I don't know what kind of message this would be sending to that parent of the girl that's the bro is trying to impress.
Well, to me, it seems that the message should be loud and clear. Hey, my guy's coming, but he's going to be bringing some peoples with him first. The people, you're going to meet his people before you ever meet him. You see what I'm saying?
I get where you're going.
And if they don't qualify, then we just pull you away from that situation altogether. Now, that's not saying that you still can't talk to the girl or whatever, or do whatever you want to do with her. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is that you may not have to meet the parents, provided the bro doesn't approve. I mean, I'm just saying. So, to wrap it all up, Greg, it's all right in my book to be the representative. I don't think very many people agree with you. I can see Tommy over there shaking his head, kind of no. But it's whatever.
I'm on the fence about it. The more it's discussed, the more I kind of see where you're going with it. But I think I'd need a little more discussion before I completely agree.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get back to that. I think this discussion could take all night.
I mean, we could talk about that off air. That's no big deal. I mean, and you know, if we don't agree, then hey, you know, then I suggest, Tommy, when you go to meet a girl, you don't take anybody with you, and good luck with that. I'm just saying, if it were me, I'm having somebody go and represent me, is what I'm saying. Kind of like a lawyer, you know, legal representation.
Exactly.
You got to have somebody fighting for you because nobody else will around this place.
Also, if this is going to happen, if you are going to have a legal representative, you have to make sure that this legal representative of yours isn't just one of your good buddies who volunteers for the job. You got to make sure he's going to do a good job doing it. Just because somebody's your friend doesn't mean they're going to have a good job. Those two things can happen, but sometimes you might have to go outside your friends to find a good person to do this job.
Matches his hat.
So you're willing to send a random stranger?
No.
Who's going to do that?
Not a random stranger, maybe an actual attorney.
Well, well, yeah, you could do that too. What I feel like we ought to do is, I feel like this is going to spawn a whole nother website that we should create, and it's going to be called something on the lines of bro representation. I mean, you know, I'm spitballing, of course, but we'll go with that later. We revisit that some other time over there. That's pretty much the only submission. I don't know what the heck's going on with people. The website's there. All you got to do is click on the link and send it. Send it to Tommy T. He'll freaking answer it. If he don't, then we'll bash him for you.
Even if I do answer it, I'll probably still get bashed, but regardless.
That's only because of the hat. Only because of the hat. We don't like it. We've told you that many a time. All right, so we're going to move on. I want to talk about something. You may have seen it on our Facebook page, the Mankind Association. If you look in public posts, you'll see that this guy had posted a picture of a celebrity with his face horribly plastered all over it. I don't know. It was the worst Photoshop I had ever seen, and I don't know much about the Photoshopping. But he was pretty adamant that...
So, I mean, this is definitely an infraction for me. Yeah, definitely.
He was pretty adamant to put that on our page and brag about himself. I'm not opposed to a man bragging about himself, but it says here on this, and you can see it on our Facebook, and it'll be in the podcast. I'll go ahead and pop a picture up for everybody to see. There can only be one champ. Can I get a hell yeah? Now let me tell you where that stems from. That stems from Stone Cold Steve Austin. Probably one of the greatest men that I have yet to meet. I believe he lives down there in Texas on a ranch. I think it's called Broken Skull Ranch. I feel like, matter of fact, we ought to go there. We should probably fill up the jet and go. We don't have one jet, but I feel like we should probably do that too. But it's a horrible. I mean, Richard.
I think it's a transition thing.
Yeah. And Tommy, do you see it?
Yes, I'm seeing what you're showing me there.
Yeah, it's horrible, isn't it?
Yes, it is terrible. It kind of goes to the point of if you're a real man, you don't need to Photoshop you onto anybody else, because you should be able to live off the merits of your own manliness and just use your own picture.
Now, the guy, I'll tell you, the guy turns around, and a couple of days later, he posts a picture of him doing some fishing. I think he's got himself a pretty nice little catch. I would have accepted that photo long before I'd accepted the cut and paste job he did to Stone Cold Steve Austin, which is kind of an infraction. One, because Stone Cold Steve Austin is like, he's the man, you know. Stands up to authority, that type of deal. I want to talk about, we did some upgrading a little bit. I say upgrading to the website. We added the ability for people to see us and chat with us live. It's called, you go to the website, mancoddassociation.com, and you can see it down in the bottom right-hand corner. And anytime you see that online and it says that we're here, myself or Tommy T, somebody will log in and talk to you and address any of your man concerns that you may have. And ladies, you can try, but we'll talk to you too, but it won't take long for us to realize that you are a woman, and we will probably hang up on you with extreme prejudice. So, not that I don't love women or that Tommy doesn't love women. It's just that y'all belong in the kitchen. That's the way it should be. And I really don't think that you have time to be chatting on the phone with people from the Man Cod Association when you should be at the house making dinner. Is what I'm getting at.
Exactly. Dinner needs to be on the table at 5. You don't have time to waste.
You don't have time to waste because what? You got to turn around and go right back to work because we're working men. What else, Tommy? You got anything to talk about? Anything pop up for you over the last couple of weeks? I know we missed Wednesday. I hate that we did that, but we had a lot of man stuff happening.
But we're making up for it.
Making up for it tonight.
And then we're going to turn right back around and get right back on schedule, because that's just what men do.
That's what we do.
One of the things that's come up recently, whenever you're getting ready to go out with a lady, go out on a big date, whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The phrase comes to mind, and I was told this phrase, and I adamantly believe it to be true. You do not go out with a loaded gun. Man, if you catch
Absolutely.
my drift.
Oh, I read it loud and clear. Matter of fact, whoever made up that phrase should be given a plaque and possibly a golden statue or bronze, because gold is kind of expensive. A bronze statue. I'll be alright with the bronze statue. I think the phrase goes without question. When it's time to go out, and you're taking, whether it be your wife, your girlfriend, you know, you don't go out with a loaded gun. You don't. You just can't do it. Bad things could happen to you when it's time to come back and fulfill your man duties by taking care of your woman in that aspect.
Now that we're to the final part of that, we'll break it down for you baseball fans. We'll break it down like this. When you do come back to the house, you're not trying to hit a single, a double, nothing. You're not going to stop at third base. We're going for that home run every time. And if you're going out with a loaded gun, you're probably going to lay down a bunt. So, might as well be cautious beforehand. Then you come back, you knock it out of the park, and you're good to go.
Every time.
Every time.
You know, 2 or 3 times.
2, 3. I mean, yeah. Why would you stop with one? You get at least 3 at bats every game. So go ahead and try and hit a home run every time.
I mean, real men would hit a home run every time, right?
Exactly.
I mean,
but not if you're going out with a loaded gun. If you're going out with a loaded gun, your night's over before it started. You're going 0 for 4.
I like it. I like what you did there. Very good analogy.
So let me push it a little bit further. Think of it this way. You go out and you end up 0 for 4, the relief pitcher is going to have to come in and clean up the game for you. If you want that to happen, be my guest. Go out with that loaded gun. You want to keep your pitchers in the bullpen? go ahead and take care of business beforehand.
Not that you need to do that to be a man, just saying.
Yeah. I really don't have much more to say to that because it was said so elegantly. And I think we should just move on topics because if a guy ain't got it by now, he just ain't going to get it. And I feel like that if he don't get it, then that's an infraction. So, we're going to move on to this other topic. And this is something that happened to me. I saw it happen at work. And I jumped all over the lady who did it. We're going to talk about how women should treat their men here for just a second now. And I don't want to get too sensitive about it, but here's the deal. If your man engages you into a conversation, women, I'm speaking to you. Why you listening to the podcast, I don't know, but you obviously are. There's a handful of y'all that do it. If your man engages you in conversation, says, how is your day? What do you got? What is this? How are you? Whatever it may be. Your job is to respond to him in a manner that is appropriate to that conversation. For instance, ladies, Carrie, in this scenario, she was bringing a sack full of groceries. I'm not sure what it was myself, but I saw it. And her man says, "Hey, what you got?" Tommy, you know what happened there?
What happened?
She did not even freaking acknowledge that he existed.
Oh. If we could
mean,
infract women on man card violations, if we could somehow take their man card, if they had one, which I know it sounds crazy, man, but stick with me on this one. If we could, that's a definite infraction right there. I mean, that's...
Definite infraction. Heck yeah, I agree with you 100%. You're not going to, not in my presence, you're not going to just ignore your man. I'm not going to allow it to happen. And I'm going to tell you something, ladies, because you think we're just blowing smoke and everything here, but I'm going to tell you, you take your man for granted. You don't know what you had until you lost it. I'm telling you that. I want people to understand that once they're gone, they're gone. Ain't no second chance in this adult game we call a relationship or marriage or whatever it is. And men, you should be doing some more manly stuff for your women. I feel like a man should open the door and be courteous to his lady and that extends on down to the children and everything because you have an obligation to do so as a man. So that's a sensitive topic for me. I don't want to get too far into it. I do think that it's time for us to move on, and we gotta bash a celebrity. And Tommy, I don't know about you, but I think you had told me a name earlier. Go ahead and tell the listeners who we're bashing.
This one, our listeners are going to know the minute I let the name out that, yes, he deserves to be bashed, not only for the things he does, but the things he says as well. We're going to be talking a little bit about Kanye West tonight.
Now, I had to do my research on this guy because I don't know too much about him. But I do know that I've read some of his quotes, and I feel like this guy should be put in a capsule, preferably really small that he's in the fetal position, put into a space shuttle of some sort, I don't know, we'll just put him on top of a rocket for all I care, and shoot this guy to the moon, because he's definitely sucking my air that I'm trying to breathe up with his nonsense. This Kanye West guy. Matter of fact, I think I called him Kanye West because I didn't know who he was.
I gotta be completely honest with you. I didn't know who this kid was, and I got on the Google, and the first picture that came up, I was pretty certain that was a girl.
Let me start off with one of the major problems I had about him.
All right.
I heard something about him and his wife, girlfriend, whatever it is, had a kid, and they decided to name this youngin' North.
North of what?
Northwest is the name, the full name.
Is that like...
I don't
know.
That's a direction. That's not a kid's name. That's a direction.
That's a direction on a map.
Yes.
You're not... What are you going to do with you? How's that going to even work in school?
I don't know, but if the kid's anything like the dad, I don't know schools in the future.
Highly probable. We better hope that they can do some sort of music, rap or something. I don't know, because that's not going to work in a working environment. As a matter of fact, I tell you what, I wouldn't have that type of name in my garage. I would actually rename them with a garage name. Now, Northwest, is that a girl, a guy, a boy?
I'm not even sure. I didn't delve too much into the topic because just the name.
What does it matter? What does it matter? Yeah, the name stops you right dead in the tracks. I'm gonna read just a couple quotes from this guy that I had found on the interweb. One of them is talking back. I don't know how old it is. 2005, I believe. One of the quotes, and this is crazy because it just comes out of nowhere, is he says George Bush doesn't care about black people. How can anyone confidently say that about the President of the United States at that time? Because to me it seems like whether or not your president cares about people or not, they're kind of obligated to care. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't see any colors. You know, I'm colorblind, so there you go.
Exactly.
And I believe that the president was the same way. So another one. This guy, the arrogance in this guy. He says, "My greatest pain in life is that I will never be able to see myself perform." I got news for you, guy. It's called YouTube. It's called freaking a projector. I mean, go to one of your live concerts, search your name, it pops up on the YouTube, and now you're watching yourself perform live. I mean, is it live? And I'm using air quotes, people. Maybe not. But for him to go out and say he can never see himself perform is outlandish. Especially live. I mean, I watch live shows all the time.
And let's be honest here.
This is a live show.
I've never heard.
Well, it's pre-recorded. I mean, people are gonna. It's pre-recorded show. But right now, at this moment, it's live. I feel like that if you're in the moment doing something, then you are enhancing watching yourself live.
Exactly. Like every time.
Let me tell you how this guy could do it. Exactly. Let me tell you how this guy could do it. He's on stage, performing to a crowd of maybe 10 people, because that's all the people that probably care about him. This is his closest family. One of them going to be this Northwest kid. Okay. Take one of the cameras, plug it into a TV, put the TV right in front of him. He's watching himself perform live. There you go. Can't ever say you can't do it, because I know it can be done because I just did it. Bam.
And
I'm going to drop the mic on that.
Let me add something to that. His greatest fear or whatever is that he won't be able to see himself perform. I don't understand why that's a big deal. I've never once in my life heard someone go, "Man, did you see the Kanye West concert last night?" I've never heard that.
Never heard it.
No. I'm probably never gonna hear it. Which, if I do, infraction.
Infraction. Definite. Matter of fact, this guy's existence, the pure existence on the planet is an infraction until he can tell me that he can do something manly. Like lift a car up from the rear without using the assistance of any type of jack stand. Which you'll know, by the way, we did that competition at the shop the other day. So, we know it can be done. With bashing a celebrity, you know that we got to praise one. And what better person to praise other than Tom Brady? And I'm going to have to take it to the football league. And I don't know if you're following me here, but the trending topic right now is Peyton Manning.
I think the average person could be rolled into a ball smaller than this man's freaking bicep.
And when it comes to the NFL, Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, I say Peyton a close second. He is the 2-time Super Bowl champion. However, that is because the Patriots didn't make it. You see what I'm saying? If the Patriots had gone this year,
got to be the hat.
I'm not exactly sure what the heck that was. I think it was on one of Cayenne's stupid websites, and it sure as heck was. So, I want everybody to understand what you just heard. It's something stupid from Cayenne, what is his name?
Kanye West.
Kanye West. Kanye, whatever, this guy. I was on his websites because I had to pull those quotes from somewhere because I didn't know who the heck this guy was. I have minimized that, and I'm sitting here getting to talk about one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, Peyton Manning, and Kanye. Stupid website goes off and plays an ad that I didn't even click on. Who does that? I don't know. The Mankind Association will never play any ads on their website without you knowing about it. And you must be on the web on that page that has ads on it, which we don't have any because we're not sellouts. All right, back to Peyton Manning. Tom Brady didn't make it this year. Peyton Manning made it. The only reason why Peyton Manning's the 2-time Super Bowl champion is because Tom Brady wasn't there. But props have got to be given to Peyton Manning for his tenure in the NFL.
And real quick, for anybody that's going to talk about Deflategate or whatever you want to call it with Tom Brady, we're not going to listen to it.
Oh, God. Here we go, Deflategate. Let me tell you something. I'm the locker room guy. Okay? Just so we can clear this up, Tony Patino from the Mankind Association is the locker room guy. I'm the one that took the air out of the balls so that I could save that air for a child who may or may not have an asthma attack.
I've heard this story many times, folks. I heard Tony Patino over here went into the locker room, grabbed these footballs and he squeezed them wicked hard. Just get some of the air out of it to save those babies.
That's right. And it's worked 2 times. I'm going to say, for everybody out there, 2 times has it worked. I've saved 2 kids with the air from the balls. Okay? That's all I'm going to say.
Anyways, back to Peyton Manning. As you said,
if I hear one more thing about that daggum Deflategate, I swear, the next person that talks to me in person over this Deflategate, I'm going to smack them.
As you should.
I've had enough of it.
As you should.
And then I'm going to infract them.
Probably at the same time. A little infract slap.
I'm thinking we say a slap and yell infraction at the same time that I'm slapping.
It's a good idea. That's actually a great idea. Might have to go up on the website somewhere. We'll get to that later.
Oh, it's going. It's definitely going. I'm glad you brought that up because it is going up there.
Anyways, back to Peyton Manning. As you said, one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of the NFL. Has announced his retirement. The man is...
Sad day.
The man is just a great player.
That role for him, I think, really, I think that capped off and set a firm foundation for the rest of his career.
You know, he's a good human being, too, though. You know, haven't heard anything negative about him except for this crazy stuff going on with these human growth hormone stuff that, I mean, there's no proof on that. I mean, what's your boy, is it Clemens from the baseball? I mean, come on.
But that's New York, you know, that's what we expect from them.
But you know what? Peyton's saying that wasn't for me, and nobody's going after him, so obviously we have to conclude that they weren't for him.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping his cool through that whole thing is worthy of mention on the Mankind Podcast. That's all I'm going to say. I'm done with it.
Whereas Clemens lied about it because he took them and then he had to go before Congress and he got caught lying in front of them and the whole thing turned into a big old mess and New York deserves all that crap.
Thanks a lot, Yankees.
Yeah. You'll never beat Boston.
No. Remember that time that Boston came back from down 3-0 in 04? You remember that? It's a good day.
That was a good day.
It's a good
Heck of a good day. So Peyton's retiring. Obviously a sad day to hear. I'm glad he got to retire on top. Hopefully next season when Brady takes it and three-peats. And for those of y'all who don't know what three-peats means, that means that he's going to go to the Super Bowl for the next 3 years consecutively, be a 3-time Super Bowl champion 3 years in a row. And then Tom Brady retires, and we have a massive celebration. But I want to talk about Peyton. I want to say that to him personally, Peyton, when you're listening to the podcast, congratulations on everything that you accomplished there in the NFL. Maybe one day you could swing by the garage and turn some wrenches, because I know that you're a good sport. And that's pretty much all I want to say to Peyton about it. I hope maybe I could get Tom Brady and Peyton at the same time. That would be great. Then we could have some sort of a man-off where we can finally settle who's the better person, which we all know would be Tom Brady.
Exactly.
Well, we at approximately 30 minutes here on our podcast already. I mean, we just nailed through everything. I don't have anything else I need to add at this time. But what about you, Tommy?
No, I do want to apologize to our listeners, because last week, our last podcast, I guess, I said that we would potentially have a special guest on.
You did.
I do want to apologize. Our special guest had a manly emergency.
Oh, that's true. He had a manly emergency. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't know the full story. Is that something that you could put out over the air? Or no?
I'm going to go ahead and keep it.
Maybe if we can get him on, he could tell us what the manly emergency was.
So hopefully, if things go as planned, we can get him on sometime in the future. I don't want to promise the next podcast, but I'm going to push for it.
Definitely push for it. We like to have special guests. Terry Crews couldn't make it. I didn't actually talk to him personally, but he never contacted us, so I'm just assuming that he was real busy doing his own manly duties. I do want to say, Jeff Gordon, if you're listening, because I know I've been tagging you on the Twitter. Jeff Gordon, if you're listening, we want you to be a special guest on our podcast. That's all. That's all I really have for the shout outs and the plugs.
I want to do a quick shout out to the guy that is in the commercial for the product, the Squatty Potty.
Tommy, I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. This is Tony Patino from the Mancout Association, and I'm signing off.
Yep, I'm going to go ahead and get out too, guys. This is Tommy T. We appreciate you listening, guys. Come back next time.
This is Richard Deck. I'm signing off. No free shot, no problem. You guys have a good night.